Welcome back, welcome in. You found me once again. Shoot the Gap, the Rabbit Hole Fantasy Football Focus Show, here to help you to be gruntled with your fantasy football team and your fantasy football decisions. I am Brian the Amigo Baldwin. I am honored that you are here. Thank you so much for including me a part of your incredible must-win week. Yeah, this is it, man. This is when it's all coming down. I mean, it's coming down, and this is I know for me, I'm in a must-win in both my leagues that I have to win in order to get in. One of them, well, dude, we'll see what the Lord says. Anyway, point is that we are all working hard. We are all trying to get to that elusive playoff. And thank you so much for allowing me to be part of that journey. All right, so let's go and talk about the last minute start sit advice for week 14. Last week of the regular season. This is now our 181st show, December the 9th, in this hopeful year of our Lord. And man, like I said, today's a great show. I mean, just plain and simple. You've seen these before. I don't really go all fluffy. It's just really just trying to get down information as fast as possible and as much as possible because, well, this is last minute, man. This is crunch. This is where it's all happening. Yeah, this is where the things are happening. So let's go ahead and let's get started with some, let's do some, what do you think, some news? Yeah, let's go ahead and let's talk about some actives and inactives and how they affect things.
No news is good news. No news is good news. If you ain't got any blues, if you ain't got any news.
Ha! Nice. Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's get started. Okay, Isiah Pacheco. That's the first one. That's the first one. Let's go and talk about the inactives. The Chiefs' top running back he just produced his second 100-yard performance of the season in Week 13. He had at least 15 carries in each of his last 4 games. Man, look at that. That's one of your stalwarts of your roster sitting down. Yeah, he's going to be out due to a shoulder injury, which is real weird. I was talking to the Gut. You know, the Gut. Yeah, so I was talking to him earlier this week, and he has Pacheco, and he's been dependent on Pacheco. He was concerned about Pacheco, and I even told him, I was like, hey, man, I said, when's the last time you heard any running back miss a game because of a shoulder injury? We couldn't come to one immediately. The closest we came to was Dalvin Cook last year, but even then they put that apparatus. Remember that? The apparatus on him, right? And then he was back to Dalvin Cook. Wish they put that on his legs or something. I don't know. Put it back on him. I don't know what happened to him. Anyway, point is, first time I've seen all year that I can recall that a running back is out due to a shoulder injury, so he's going to be gone this week. Head coach Andy Reid has already said that Clyde Edwards-Helaire will be the starter, but history shows, everybody, that when there isn't an Isiah Pacheco, it's a committee between CEH and Jerick McKinnon, with both keeping either fantasy relevancy away from each other, right? Just stealing it away, especially against a strong Bills run defense. The sleeper pick would be McKinnon because of pass catching, right? But even then, I mean, he was limited all week, so it's just one of those. We were nervous about, all of us. The fantasy community was nervous about the Kansas City backfield to begin with. Then Pacheco emerged. I think we need to go back to being nervous. Yeah, I don't think either one of those guys are going to be a fill-in for that hole there. Moving on, Jonathan Taylor, he's out. And, I really feel that the Colts are just being mean at this point. They're really just being mean to fantasy football players, just making us play that questionable out dance. He's out throughout the weekend, then on Monday questionable, and then out. I mean, it's really maddening. It keeps you from being able to make moves. It's ridiculous. There's especially since there's like a larger than average chance that he's not back for the fantasy season, and even if he comes back, remember, man, this is his hand. He needs that thumb, and defenders are going to be pulling at that, man, hitting it. I mean, he had surgery. Okay, it's an important thing. It's a big thing. So yeah, I myself, I've been wrong, of course. Nobody's 100% right. but it's my feeling, seems true to me, that he's not coming back. Um, Christian Watson. Yeah, Christian Watson this morning was just ruled out. That hamstring was more than just a cramp, it seems, and he's out, against that juicy matchup against the Giants. Now, Jaden Reed was limited all week and doesn't carry an injury designation into the week. But to me, I think that it's Romeo Dobbs. That's the one that's going to be benefiting the most with Watson sitting. Seriously. I mean, listen to this. Let me break it down to you. Let me give you the reasons why. All right? Because nobody is. I've listened to a lot of podcasts. I've read a lot of things. Nobody is saying this. So that's part of this, the beauty of this podcast. I'm trying to give you some more information to help you make a educated decision, right? That's all this is. But let me just tell you about what I'm seeing. This whole week, it was Dobbs practicing with the heating up Jordan Love. And before the season, Dobbs was reported to be the main target for Love. And without Watson, he absolutely was, actually. Yeah, so just let me tell you about let me go through 1 through 4. Week 1 through 4. Okay, and remember, week 1 and 2, teams are adjusting. They're getting used to the week and everything like that. But still, I think you'll see what I'm talking about. Week 1 against the Bears, 5 targets, 4 receptions, 26 yards. That's not pretty, but 2 touchdowns. That's pretty. Week 2, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 30 yards, 0 touchdowns against the Falcons. That's poo-poo any which way you look at it. Week 3, though. Week 3. Check this out, everybody. 12 targets, 5 receptions, 73 yards, 1 touchdown against the Saints. Yeah. Yeah, the Saints. Yeah, and now week 4. Week 4, 13 targets, 9 receptions, 95 yards, but no touchdowns against the Lions. So that week 1 through 4, that was without Watson. Yeah, so you can see what I'm talking about, man. Everything you talk to, the recent info that you will hear and read is not flattering, and it's easy to dismiss the pick of Romeo Dobbs, okay? Here is the argument that I'm hearing against Dobbs, all right? This is it, all right? Right here. Here we go. Since week 8, the Giants have utilized single high or the 10th highest rate, which is 60.6%, on single high defense. Since week 5 against single high defense, Dobbs has only seen an 11.6% target share, 19.2% air yard share, and a 13% first read share with 0.62 yards per route run against single high defense. Okay, so you see that that it's obviously the defense is what's messing him up. That's what's screwing up everything. So as long as he doesn't play against single high defense, he's cool, right? Let me clarify. That the sentence started off with since week 5. Since week 5, that's when Watson was back, everybody. And that's when Watson started becoming a target hog. All right? So with Watson back, or with Watson out, I should say, there'll be more targets for Dobbs. And I think having the main target for a quarterback that is heating up against an inferior defense is a great play when you're trying to fight for your playoff life. It makes sense to me. Me personally, again, I might be wrong, but what I'm expecting high wide receiver 2 numbers from Dobbs tomorrow. That's exactly what I'm expecting, and that's what I'm hoping for. I'm starting him in one of the leagues that I'm fighting for my playoff life, that I have him. Yeah, so yeah, I would suggest you do the same. But again, this is just here to help you make a decision. Moving on, Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is out. Yeah, which is it's unfortunate. Second week that he's out with this hamstring injury. That's really concerning, especially for an older player. But Noah Brown. Okay, Noah Brown in the Texans. He's questionable but probable. And it seems that he will be the one who would benefit, along with Brevin Jordan, the backup tight end. But gotta say, man, they are playing against an elite New York Jets pass defense in the rain. Okay, and wind. You'll see. Before I do the start sit, I'll tell you about the weather issue, the weather games, and this definitely is one of them. When it's raining, I normally just focus on the first read wide receiver and the running backs. So I'd roster, but I would sit Noah Brown. I'm hoping that he's back to form next week against a lot favorable matchup. So Brown was limited on Wednesday. Just want to throw this out there. He was limited on Wednesday, full practice on Thursday, and a full did not practice on Friday, which is nerve-wracking But he missed last Friday's practice too and ended up playing, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. At least right now, it looks like it was a maintenance thing. We'll find out if it's an actual setback, but either which way, if he was playing, I would still sit him. So whatever. It's just going to be if you're going to be able to put him in your IR or not. That's where we're at. Christian Kirk earlier this week was placed on IR, but if you're fighting for your playoffs lives, I'd still keep Calvin Ridley on the bench. Yeah, that sting from last week was real, and if you are still able to survive and are fighting for the playoffs like I am, go with something more consistent. That's what I'm doing. All right, the actives. Dude, the big one, Justin Jefferson. Yeah, I don't have him, but I'm still smiling. Why? Because I'm a football fan. And I'm very, very happy and excited for everybody that held on to Justin Jefferson. You know, this is cool, man. Like this is the cavalry. This is what was it, in Lord of the Rings? Whenever the ghost army comes, you know, here he comes, Justin Jefferson. Yeah, should provide a massive boost. Yeah, to play to fantasy football players that have had him, and also to the Minnesota's NFC wildcard hopes. Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson will likely be the most affected by when it comes to pass catching production. You know, this is all true. They were the Vikings' top 2 pass catchers during Jefferson's absence, but they're going to take a bit of a backseat now. You know, with him back on the field. I mean, we've seen this before. There's history. Just look to see how he did with Jefferson on how they did with Jefferson on, and see if you're happy with them off. Trevor Lawrence. So you know, Addison and Hawkinson managers where you're at. You're gonna play Hawkinson. I probably said Addison. Trevor Lawrence. He's considered questionable, and if he plays, he'll be playing against the Browns with Denzel Ward back, with a now dry game, but sustained winds somewhere between 15 to 20 mile an hour. Yeah, not ideal for Lawrence. Not ideal for Ridley. Okay, so you see where we're going here. Derek Carr, head coach Dennis Allen said Carr was still in the protocol when he met with the media on Friday, but after he was a full participant in Saints practice later in the day, the quarterback apparently gained clearance with the independent neurologist following practice. So he's good to go. Yeah, he's good to go. So great news for Alvin Kamara. We'll see about Chris Olave, who is also playing. Chris Olave is also playing. He's questionable, but he's playing, so no worries there. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, quarterback for Cleveland. He's cleared the concussion protocol, but no starter has been named as of yet between him and Flacco. If I had to guess, that's what you guys are here for, so I'm going to guess. It seems to me that DTR will be the starter. I mean, their season is pretty much over, so no reason not to see what they have in their backup. You know, not the dude that was riding the couch at the beginning of the season, right? You know, so that's what I think they would do. Amari Cooper was back to a limited practice, which is the last stage of the NFL's concussion protocol. I mean, we saw this before with other players, and they ended up being cleared by the independent neurologist in time to play. So I would say I'd be banking on Amari Cooper playing. Aaron Jones is back, which is great. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, Geno Smith, all questionable, all going to play, it looks like. We know the drill. Zach Charbonnet, back of the bus, buddy. You're back there, man, which is good. Let that knee heal. So whenever Kenneth Walker blows out, again, maybe he can use him in the last week of the playoffs when he actually has a favorable matchup. Yeah, it's a terrible matchup against San Francisco. That's just all of that smells. Stay away. Breece Hall is back, or he's back. He's going to play. He was not a non-practice participant, and the bad thing about that is that it seems to me that Dalvin Cook is more fantasy relevant to me right now with the way that the state of the Jets are. They're more fantasy. He's more fantasy relevant without Breece. Like the backfield for the Jets would be better without Breece. Dalvin Cook would be fantasy relevant. With Breece, none of them are. So yeah, so it's kind of a back step. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to some off the actives and inactives to some news. Dude, listen, I need to talk to you about this real quick. Los Angeles Chargers head coach Deuce Staley created a media storm by implying that they're going to move away from Eckler and give more carries to the other backs. This notion has universally been poo-pooed by the fantasy talking heads, except this one that you're looking at right now. And let me tell you why. They are playing against the Denver defense, who are vulnerable to the run, so whoever gets the carries are going to have a pretty favorable matchup. The naysayers are pointing to Kelly's recent stats, but again, that's with single digits carries, and we saw how even a generational talent like Bijan Robinson produced with single digit carries. He wasn't given his opportunities. But check this out. Even though he had single digit carries, guys, he already has one, guys and gals, he already has one 76-yard touchdown run and one angry over 20-yard run on his 2023 resume. So it seems true to me that with more opportunities against a vulnerable defense will give Kelly a pretty nice fantasy line, even if Eckler is somewhere around in the mix. But let's go ahead and talk about that. Let me just go ahead and talk about Eckler. They need to sit him. They need to sit him. I know. They need to sit him. He needs to sit down. Shut him down for the season. All right. I mean, it seems like he'd be best for everyone. For both, best for Eckler, best for the Chargers. Just sit him. They aren't going to the playoffs, and running him into the ground is not helping anybody. That's the old adage, right? Well, we're not going to have him next year. Let's run him into the ground. But dude, he's already kind of ground. Right? He's not helping. He's terrible. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's not recovered from his injury. He needs to shut it down, recover for next season so that he can help get himself a better contract for next season. I mean, if they shut him down due to the injury, then look, I mean, Eckler could use that as a reason for the low producing 2023, and he's trying to negotiate his next contract. So you see, I mean, I think Kelly's going to be fine. I think he's going to be a great play against the defense. If you're stuck in a situation, I would play Kelly. I mean, I'm not going to. I would not going to look for a complete replacement of Pacheco. But if you lost Pacheco, I would go get Kelly and play him. And I would not listen to what those people what they're saying, because everybody seems to be looking at just the most recent stats, and they keep saying, "Oh, he's trash," and he was terrible. And yes, he didn't do well before, but it was against tough defenses. This is a very vulnerable defense. Everybody, week to week, guys, we gotta live week to week, especially if you're playing for your life. And this week, in this situation, Kelly looks like he's going to be a great play. All right, okay, so let's go ahead and let's move on to the start sits, okay? But before I do that, let me go and talk to you about the weather. Here are the weather games. New York Jets, I just talked about it. Check this out. It will be raining, okay? And there will be around 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds. Great for the Houston Texans defense. Yeah, bad for everything else. If you need to play Stroud and Collins, those would probably be the ones I would look at. That Pierce Singletary, I mean, right now it looks like Pierce took over the backfield. I don't know. It's weird. Okay, fight for your life. I wouldn't go anywhere on that. As far as the Jets go, I know that Garrett Wilson, you can go and take a look at the Houston Texans defense and say that they've given up a lot of points to wide receivers. But again, none of that was in the rain. None of that was with 20 miles an hour sustained winds. None of that was with Zach Wilson throwing the ball. So yeah, I would sit Garrett Wilson. I just don't want. I don't not when I'm playing for my life. Baltimore. It's going to be rain, but single digits win, so no big deal there. Seriously, it's not going to be a big deal. That's like, if it's going to have to rain, that's the ideal situation. Rain, but not really windy. I think that's not really going to affect things too much, including Justin Tucker. Cleveland, no rain, but sustained winds around 20 mile an hour. That's not good, everybody. So even if, let's say if DTR doesn't play and Joe Flacco plays, you're like, oh, and Cooper doesn't play, Amari Cooper doesn't play, you're like, oh, I'm going to go get Elijah Moore because there was a connection between Flacco. Man, that would 20 mile an hour wins. Okay. No, dude, no, I wouldn't play that. Chicago, no rain, but around 50 mile an hour sustained winds. So that's going to cause issue, I think, with DJ Moore. And I think and Justin Fields. There we go. But Justin Fields runs, and so he should be okay there. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the quarterbacks on the start sit. So here we go. Let's go with the ones that are easy. Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Tua, Lamar, Brock Purdy. These guys are ones that I think that you can start with no problem. I know everybody's scared of of Herbert. We'll be talking about him in a second. You didn't hear that, so well, let's talk about it now. Herbert, okay. Herbert's against Denver, man, at home, okay. And I have the Herbert Allen stack, so now you know why I'm fighting for my playoff life. But I am going to, dude. I'm rolling with them, man. I'm gonna roll with them. I'm not being cute. This is not a time to be cute or overthink. This is where this week 14, the playoffs. This is where you can fake the fake. This is where you can overthink, and when you overthink, that's when you make a mistake. All right, just go with what's smart. Okay, and the smart thing, in my opinion, is to play Justin Herbert. Justin Fields. Justin Fields. I think he's going to be. He'll make it up with his legs. But man, I'd be really nervous about that wind. That's just not good. That is just not a good situation. So Herbert over Fields, in my opinion. All the ones I mentioned before over Fields. Russell Wilson playing against the Chargers. Russell Wilson's Russell Wilson. Okay, you are going to get, what you see is what you get. So if you like what you're seeing, I don't think you're going to see anything different. Jordan Love, man, yeah, dude. I said last week, that you have to look at, or actually I think it was last episode, that you have to look at trends. What's going up? Don't have prejudices against players that weren't doing well at the beginning of the year, or were doing well at the beginning of the year, but aren't now. So Jordan Love is doing great now. Okay, so I'm telling you, I think he's gonna be a great play, especially against the Giants. Baker Mayfield, I would sit him. He just doesn't look right. He just doesn't look right. And Atlanta is a little bit stronger than you think, and they're at Atlanta. CJ Stroud, I already talked about him. Let's see here. Desmond Ritter, come on, that's a sit. Gardner Minshew at Cincinnati. Now, this is a guy that I think you can actually start. Cincinnati's defense is no longer, they're kind of hot and cold, a lot like Gardner Minshew is. So if you're in a pickle, I would go ahead and play Minshew. So that's where I would be. Okay, so he's an okay start. He's not going to hurt you, but he's not going to win a game for you. Josh Dobbs the same way. But I like Josh Dobbs a little bit better, actually. I like Josh Dobbs better than Gardner Minshew. And the reason why is that he has Justin Jefferson back. He hasn't played with Justin Jefferson. And I think it's going to be a really nice marriage. So I think that's going to be a really good setup. If you're a Justin Jefferson manager, you have a spot that you're looking for a backup quarterback, put in Dobbs. You might get a neat stack to end for the playoff run. Charlie talked about Joe Flacco and DTR. Will Levis, we're not even going to waste time on him. Come on, it's against Miami, no. Matthew Stafford against Baltimore. Now, yeah, I like that. I like Matthew Stafford against Baltimore, mainly because they need to pass. Okay, and he has shown that he can come up in tough spots. The issue is rain, or the weather. Again, so you look at the rain, you're like, okay, it's going to be rainy. I already told you it's going to be rainy, but no wind, or lower wind. I think Matthew Stafford's a good play. Don't be scared of him. Geno Smith is already talked about him. Tommy DeVito, come on, man, really. I would play Josh Dobbs before I play Tommy DeVito. Okay, yeah. So, okay, let's go ahead and let's move on to some running backs. Let's go ahead and do that. So, running backs. Here we go. Easy ones to go. Probably the best guy. I mean, congratulations, everybody that has Christian McCaffrey. I think you're going to have a good week this week. Same thing goes with Alvin Kamara, Zach Moss, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Tony Pollard. Against Philadelphia. Oh, he's gonna be. He didn't do well before. I don't, man. Running back 2 flex start. I wouldn't be looking at running back 1 numbers. It just seems like they're going to be throwing more against Philadelphia because that's their vulnerability. Joe Mixon, yeah, it's a great play. Travis Etienne. Keep an eye out to see if Myles Garrett is. I don't know, man. Myles Garrett, even if he plays, he's still banged up, so he's not guaranteed to play the whole game. They're gonna have trouble throwing, and in that wind, yeah, Travis Etienne's a good start. Raheem Mostert, great start. Good start. I like Raheem Mostert. Same thing with Devon Achan. Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams, of course. And Javonte Williams against the Chargers. Yes, you want to play against the Chargers. Now you heard me miss out on a name. I might let me finish the Chuba Hubbard is a good play, solid play, and Alexander Madison is a solid play. Running back to flex type numbers. Let me see if I could look at other people that might be a play. Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford. I like Jerome Ford against Jacksonville's defense, but I don't like Kareem Hunt. Look at his pass numbers, and plus he was limited all week, and he has a groin. He's got a groin injury, so that's kind of an issue. The sits. I would put Rashad White. Not a sit, but just temper your expectations. It's against Atlanta. That's a strong defense for the run. It really is, and I think that he's going to be. Again, he's not going to lose the game for you, but he's not going to win it for you. That's just what I'm thinking. That's Atlanta's defense is not as bad as people think, and it's not as good as people think. It's kind of meh, But when you're in the situation like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are and how they've been performing, and the fact that Rashad White's considered the best running back this year, it's not a good situation. You're going to play him, but just temper your expectations. Let's see here. The James Cook. Let's talk about James Cook. All right, the Chiefs, they have great linebacker speed. All right, and they struggle more with big power backs, which Cook is not. All right, plus he's in a committee. If you're fighting for your life, I'd see something else. I would play Kelly before I'd play Cook. Hot take. I would. That's what you're here for. DeAndre Swift, he looks like he's going to play. You're not sitting DeAndre Swift. Just temper your expectations. A.J. Dillon against the Giants, you're going to play him. But again, it's just... I see like a garbage time hero with him. Okay, so you're going to see him being used more in the second half. So if you have him and you start him, don't freak out the first half. Start freaking out with 5 minutes to go in fourth quarter if he has not produced. I think the second half is where he's going to hit. I'm staying away, and I would recommend to stay away from all backfield of the Bears. Okay, it's a tough matchup. Rashawn Johnson, I know everybody's all excited about him, but Khalil Herbert might be the guy. Deontay Foreman might be the dude. You just don't know, and I would just stay away from it. You're fighting for your life. I would not play that game in any shape or form. Yeah, so I think that covered. I think we kind of hit real fast on those guys. So let's go ahead and let's move on to the wide receivers. Okay, so the wide receivers, there are a lot that are easy picks, so I'll just run through those guys real easy, real fast, in a hurry. Oops, excuse me, sorry about that. Pardon. Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Mike Evans, of course, DJ Moore. I already talked about temper your expectations because of the weather. Let's see here. Jalen Waddle, Chris against Tennessee is good. Chris Olave, of course, is good, even though that Carr is going to be there. Cortland Sutton is now a sit and forget guy. How about that? Man, I was so mad at him last year because I depended on him. I'm always like a year early on guys. Seriously, I usually pick out these guys that are like a year early because then the following year I'm like, man, screw them, and they blow up. It always happens. Anyway, Puka Nacua. Oh, you know what? There was an inactive I didn't talk about. I'm going to talk about it right now. Tyler Higbee is inactive for the game. All right, so that's a big deal. Okay, to me for Puka Nacua. All right, Puka Nacua has already become the target leader because Cooper Kupp obviously is not right. So without that extra target there for Higbee, I think it's going to be a big Puka Nacua week. So I'm really excited about that. I've already talked to you about Calvin Ridley. I would sit him. Devontae Adams, you're never sitting him. Nicole Collins, we talked about him. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, those guys are in a San Francisco. You can pass against them. It's a must-win game for Seattle. I think that's why Walker is in there, and so I could see them throwing to those guys. DK Metcalf, I'm never sitting that guy. Tyler Lockett, solid flex numbers. I've already talked to you about. I already talked to you about Garrett Wilson. Zay Flowers. Ooh, look at that smile on my face. Yeah, I have him on both my leagues, and I am so excited. Yes, he was starting to trend up, 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 up. He was trending up, 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 and now look at him now. Bam. Yeah, after the bye week. Which, my lugs, everybody. My lugs. I just remembered another guy I wanted to talk about. Keaton Mitchell. Holy mackerel. How did I not talk about Keaton Mitchell in the running back section? My lugs. Sorry about that, everybody. Keaton Mitchell's a great play. Fantastic flex play. I mean, so right now everybody is trying to decide if Mitchell's real. Is he more McLaughlin or is he more Achane? Who's he going to be? Which is going to be? All right. The difference is that with Achane, the reason whenever he blew up, he started going up because his production and his snap rate started going up, and bam, opportunities and everything exploded. McLaughlin just had Javonte Williams out, and then after that, everything went back to normal. So that's why it went bad. Keaton Mitchell, count me as one that believes that he's a league winner starting this week. He's a strong start, and I apologize for not saying anything before in the running back section. Yeah, I wish I could rewind it back and say, hey, running back section, but nope, we're here. Hopefully everybody watched. I apologize about that. So maybe I'm going to put a note. I'm going to put a note in the timeline description. Let me go ahead and put that, to make sure to put Mitchell's in the wide receivers, so everybody will know about that, because that's really important. Zay Flowers, though, I think is going to be fantastic. Again, it's going to be rainy, but the wind's going to be down. Zay Flowers is a wide receiver one. I'm excited about that. T. Higgins, just start, but just squeeze. Because it's against a good situation with Indianapolis in a dome, so that's great. Or no, not in a dome, at home. In the weather. Okay, never mind. Forget it. Yeah, T. Higgins is going to be an okay start, but I would try to find something else other than T. Higgins, but he would be flex at best. Drake London. Yeah, I think he can take advantage of the Buccaneers corner core. So I think he's going to do fine there. I would sit. No. You're not sitting Brandon Cooks. He's on a heater. I talked about it. These ones are heating up. He's a good flex in a great matchup. So yeah, so I would go ahead and do that. Jaden Reed is a good start. I think that he's right under Dobbs. Just I'm concerned again about his injuries. That he might lose targets to Dobbs, and he also might be a little banged up. So just temper your expectations. Odell Beckham Jr. I think that he's an okay start. I'm not even looking at this revenge game crap. Don't even do that, everybody. There's no such thing as a revenge game to everybody. This isn't the 70s, okay? Or the 80s, I should say, whenever they started doing free agency. It's this is like. Everybody's kind of played for everybody or has a connection to everybody. So revenge games is just a media narrative, not necessarily a real life narrative. What's a real life narrative apparently is that if somebody's playing on their freaking birthday, they get all the passes. That's what happened to Beckham. But anyway, this is not his birthday. It's over. Yeah. So I don't know. I would be nervous about Odell Beckham Jr. He's always an injury risk. We already talked about Addison. We've already talked about Elijah Moore. With that weather. Gabe Davis, if you're fighting for your life, I understand that the Chiefs like to play zone defense, and that he has a big breakout game against them in the playoff 2 years ago. But no, I wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't do it. I would try to be pivoting to something else. I'm sure if you're fighting for your playoff life, you have something else. Jerry Jeudy is not at play anymore. I wouldn't even look his direction, even against the Chargers. Deebo Samuel, I think I already talked about that. I already talked about, those guys. Talked about Cooper. Noah Brown, talked about him. DeAndre Hopkins against Miami. You're going to have to, if you have to play him, go ahead. But keep in mind he's going to have Jalen Ramsey and downfield coverage, so not a good look for him. Rashee Rice, I think, is going to be a great play. I think Rashee Rice is going to be a great play against Buffalo. They're going to need to throw. They're not going to I think they're going to move away from the run. They're going to focus on getting the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands. Rashee Rice is his most counted on receiver since Kelsey has gotten Swift. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great game for Rashee Rice. I'd be excited to play him, especially in the flex. Adam Thielen, Jonathan Mingo against New Orleans. No, I wouldn't do that. Chris Godwin, he's not very reliable. Okay, he's just not getting it done. Downs, man, against Cincinnati. How about that? I mean, he's back and prove it, man. We're in the playoffs. Not a lot of time, but I would sit him. Jacoby Myers is a sit. The Vikings actually contain they contain his type of receivers. His archetype of receiver. They contain him very well. The outside, they have Byron Murphy Jr. He's really really good. So and they're gonna be at home. The Raiders are, but you know Las Vegas has never really been a home game. Jacoby Myers, I understand he had a great game last week. I just would not if my playoff life is depending on it. Jalen Hyatt against Green Bay, sure, whatever. I'm a dart throw. Dart throw stinks, smells bad, stinks. Yeah. Khalil Shakir. I like Khalil Shakir better than Gabe Davis. But there's one thing that I haven't talked about that I forgot to talk about in the actives is Dawson Knox, man. I mean, Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid. Shakir and Davis are going to be hard to trust. So those are all dart throws. So hopefully that kind of like gave you a good idea on how things are looking on that front. So let's go ahead and let's keep this truck moving. I love how fast I'm going through these. Hopefully I'm giving you guys enough information. But yeah, my whole intent was to go fast, but let me not stall or I'll stop going fast. Just manage my advantage there. All right, so let's go to tight ends. Tight ends, they are, let me go ahead and make sure, get that timestamp a little clearer. There we go. Travis Kelce, TJ Hawkinson, Sam Laporta, George Kittle, Jake Ferguson. Taysom Hill, questionable. Yeah, that's right. He's questionable against Carolina. He's a sit for me. Dalton Kincaid is a sit because of Dawson Knox. Cole Kmet is somebody. I mean, he was underwhelming, but in the first matchup with Detroit. But again, if you're looking at strong wins and Fields is probably it seems like Fields is gonna want to throw short, and so I could definitely see that happening, and it'd be going to Cole Kmet. Gerald Everett, Isaiah Likely, Brevin Jordan, already talked to you about him. Kyle Pitts, let's put those guys. Kyle Pitts, Isaiah Likely, Gerald Everett. Those are all kind of in the same, I hope not. Hope I don't have to use those guys. But if you have to, man, this is why I always favor a double flex, so instead of just a tight end only position. Because after those top ones, man, look at that. That's what, 6, 7 players? Then the rest of your league is fighting your scraps. How cool? That's not cool. So Evan Ingram against Cleveland. You're going to start Evan Ingram. You are. I mean, I would. If in a tight end only leagues. David Njoku. His matchup was awesome last week, but his production, was stolen by Harrison Bryant with Joe Flacco. So this is just a matchup. So I wouldn't play him. He's a sit. Chiga Conquo is difficult to start him in a mediocre matchup. Tanner Hudson for the Bengals. If you like something like 4 catches for 30 yards, go for it. Michael Mayer. Okay, yeah. It's not bad. It's a good dart throw, against Minnesota. But again, I don't think that O'Connell can support more than one wide receiver, and that wide receiver is going to be Devontae Adams. So I would stay away from them. Tyler Conklin against Houston. Now, this guy would be a start that I would put in there, hoping for solid numbers. Okay, Houston is vulnerable against tight ends. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be windy. They have a crappy O line. All this is like short yardage stuff. And Tyler Conklin was before Zach Wilson left. Tyler Conklin was his favorite target, but we still don't even know if Zach Wilson. I mean, you saw that last start, and he did awful. got benched for it, and now he's coming back. And even though they said that they're going with him, for the rest of the season, they said that before. That's got to be in his mind that if he messes up, he might have he might have performance anxiety. It might be just too much for him, and that's why I think his problem, Zach Wilson's problem, is just that's too much for him. So I just don't like Jets options this week. So I guess in a tight end only situation, he would be a play. Same thing with Kate Otten. He's okay. He's overdue for a short TD, so short yardage TV. So there you go. So yeah, I think I hit all the relevant tight ends there. And so let's go ahead and let's move on to defenses. How about that? Defenses. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So the easy defenses. Okay, Browns, of course. The Browns. But again, I'm always nervous because Denzel Ward is supposed to be back. First game back from an injury makes me nervous. The weather, though, that weather is the great equalizer. And if they start C.J. Beathard, holy mackerel, in that wind, that might be something nice for the Browns defense. The 49ers against Seattle, absolutely. Saw what they did to them last time. The Ravens versus the Rams. They're going to be solid. I wouldn't say they're a knockout. They're solid, okay, because I think the Rams are going to get at least 2 touchdowns on them. I just feel like that, and one of them is going to be at least one. It's going to be Puka. That's just what it feels like, and it looks like everything's geared up that way. The Saints versus Carolina. You always start everybody against Carolina. The Texans, extremely strong start against the New York Jets. I just explained about Zach Wilson, explained about the rain, and they, not to mention, they have an incredible rusher with Will Anderson. They have Derek Stingley Jr., who has had like an interception in every game the past 3 games. He's heating up. So yeah, dude, yeah, that Texans defense, that is my number 1 play of the week, is to the Texans defense. Close behind though is Packers against the Giants. Okay, but we'll see what it goes in prime time. Hopefully they come together. But yeah, I do like Packers. Actually, they're my third. My second is Dolphins. Dolphins against Tennessee. That Dolphins team. Man, I hope you're watching Hard Knocks right now. That midseason Hard Knocks with Dolphins. Fantastic, absolutely wonderful, enjoying every single second of it. So make sure and do that if you're not doing that already. But you see how tight knit that team is, and how tight knit that defense is, and how that defense. There's been some sneaky people that have been picking up. About the season-ending injury to their linebackers, but you don't know about who replaced them and how they're growing in that situation. Yeah, spoiler alert: if you watched the game last week, that linebacker that intercepted the ball behind the line and ran it in for a pick six. Yeah, that's the replacement for the injured linebacker that they're missing. Yeah, so there you go. Jaguars against Cleveland. Sure, that wind, So it's gonna be a solid start. Not a week winner for you, but definitely shouldn't lose the week for you. The Chiefs versus Buffalo. I'd stay away from that. I just want to stay away from Buffalo. Even though I will say one thing. Buffalo smells bad, everybody. Buffalo just smells bad. They've been losing. Then now they have there's that weird looming threat of Stephon Diggs, going crazy if they don't make the playoffs. Then there's the distraction from Sean McDermott and his unfortunate statements that he made. It's just bad. It just smells bad. And if they lose against the Chiefs this week, holy mackerel, you're going to see. I'm expecting. I wouldn't. Or how about this? I'm not expecting it because that's a bad person to be expecting that. I would not be surprised if Stephon Diggs goes full meltdown on the sidelines. So yeah, everything is kind of weird there with the Bills. I'd only start the real strong things, and the Chiefs defense against them. You know what? If the Chiefs defense have not had so many injuries as they had in the last week, then I would say start them. But I'm worried about that because Josh Allen has been turnover prone. So I would say go ahead and sit those guys. The Vikings against Vegas. Yeah, I think that's a solid start. Yeah, because Aiden O'Connell, he's got some problems. He got some issues. Yeah, the Lions against Chicago. with this win situation, I think that they're a solid play. Let's see here. Cowboys against Philadelphia. No, I would sit the Cowboys. I know, right? Shocking. Yeah, but no, they're in real life they're going to do fine, but in fantasy it's not going to be what you're expecting. You know what? I think that they're not going to hurt you. But here's the thing: is that since we're starting the playoffs, and we're in this situation that we're in right now, there might be like a Houston Texans that might be still there, okay, or there might be a Green Bay Packers still there. I would drop the Cowboys and grab those guys because look at the rest of the season. Look at the schedule. Schedule matters, everybody. Definitely in the playoffs. No, the Jets. I would not play the Jets, even though like the rain and all that stuff. No, man. You talk about something that smells bad. They smell bad. And the Jets defense, as elite as they are, they're still human. They still will get tired with the offense not being able to move the ball or turning it over. So yeah, that's second half. First half of the game, you're gonna be happy you started them. Second half, you're gonna be regretting it. Buccaneers against the Falcons. I would not do that. Yeah, Buccaneers are a little banged up. Falcons, dude. Vita Vea. I should have talked about this too, but this is a good spot to talk about it. They're the all-pro defensive tackle for the Buccaneers, that run stopper. He's not there. He's not going to be there. So dude, that's going to be great news for Bijan Robinson. I should have said that earlier, but hopefully he stuck this long. Yeah, but yeah, the Buccaneers is a bad play. I would sit those guys. The Colts, you would think it'd be a good play. No. Jake Browning heating up. I wouldn't play the Colts on this important week. Nope. Wouldn't play the Chargers either, or the Broncos. No. Not against the Broncos. Okay, no, not against the Broncos. I wouldn't play definitely not the Raiders. No, definitely not that. The reason why Josh Dobbs turned over the ball so much is because they didn't have receivers catching the ball. Guess who's going to have catching the ball now? A great receiver. The Eagles at Dallas. No, I wouldn't do it either. And that's another team, another defense that if you see the Texans out there or the Packers, I would drop them to go grab them. So yeah, so hopefully I think they did it. Yeah, I think they got through everything. Hey, I went ahead and we all made it, everybody. Woo! Yeah, we made it through the last minute start sit advice for week 14, the last regular season game. Hopefully this information will help you make really good decisions so that next week you'll be watching us knowing who to play going into the playoffs. So hopefully or it helped you secure a bye. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know that you're out there loving the show. I would really appreciate that. It'd be fantastic. Click the bell. I mean, you get an announcement every time there's a show. We have our weekly show, have the start, this last minute start sit. You want to make sure and get that, so we're doing it early so you can get it as quick as possible. And then, on Saturday. And then, we have doing shorts, do sniper episodes when news breaks. I mean, all types of stuff, man. This is a great news source. And what we try our best to do is to give you more than what you normally hear. Okay, it's not regurgitated information, free thinking information to help you make a decision and be gruntled with your fantasy football team and decisions. All right. I want to make sure and thank highvolumemusicradio.com. Check them out. Check out Connor's book, You Know Too Much, on Amazon. Drive Time Sports with Charlie and Brian. That's my radio. That's my sports talk radio show, live interactive sports talk. So you can call. Yeah, it's on High Volume Music Radio every Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. Yeah, we weren't able to have an episode this past Thursday because the station went down. It happens. I'm telling you, man, it's a new station, and it's a great station. We have hiccups like that, but we need your support. So please check out highvolumemusicradio.com, please. Yeah, especially if you're in Houston. It's homegrown. It's the pride of Sunnyside. All right, so I'm on behalf of me, Brian, the Amigo Baldwin, want to thank you for watching, and I hope that this year is an even better year than the last. My parting shot is going to be one I'm going to be saying over and over and over again until the end of the playoffs. I'm serious. It is. It's not me being lazy. It's just that's how important this is. Because we freak out, we tilt, we fake the fake, we get too cute, and we end up losing our playoffs. We fill out crap the whole off season, say we're not going to do it again. We build a good team, come to the playoffs, and we do it all over again. Need to know this. Remember this. It's better to play a good player in a great matchup than play a great player in a bad matchup. Matchups count, everybody. We're living week to week. All right. With that, let's say the last, make sure and say the last line. Let me get this, get the music going here so I make it now sound cool. Yeah, there it is. Remember, everyone, in fantasy football, as in life, don't dream it, be it. Thank you so much. Good luck, everybody. I hope you guys have a fantastic